Hey, how you going? So transformation, and we've talked about vision, and we've talked about understanding current reality. Another really important part of any transformation, whether it's about your health and fitness, whether it's about finances, whether it's about career or relationships, whatever you're trying to transform, you have to have a vision, you have to have current reality, but you also need to know why you're doing it. What is your compelling reason for getting out and making the changes? Because if you don't have a compelling reason, the minute it starts getting tough, you'll give up on the goal, the vision, you'll start to go back to the old habits. I'm going to talk about habits tomorrow. But for the moment, it's understanding your compelling reason. So what have I come up with? Well, here's my compelling reason. It is to live through my 90s with the health, fitness, and outlook on life from my 40s. Now, why did I pick my 40s and not my 50s? Well, my 50s was my lost decade. I think I've said it a few times, I lived pretty miserably. And some of that was, that whole thing of getting older and, a broken relationship, and I was pretty much over that. But that whole, I'm getting older and I don't know what I want, and, and I did a downward spiral, which is crazy because I teach a lot about not going in downward spirals. I teach a lot about coming up. So sometimes you have to learn what you teach, live what you teach. So my time to live what I'm teaching. But what I have discovered in this COVID downtime, through all the research that I've been doing around the 100-year life, is that our genetics don't necessarily dictate our future. Now, I used to look at mum and dad, and they died, so far as I'm concerned, fairly young. So I'd kind of been looking at them and thinking, well, I'm going to die young, and I'm going to have illnesses, cancer, heart disease, frailty. And that was kind of bleak. Now, that wasn't a lot of conscious thinking. I realise now it was sitting back there in the subconscious, but it was going on for me. And through the research I've done this year, is really now understanding that, yes, genetics is a makeup of it, and yes, lifestyle is a big part of it, but medical technology has just grown so much. I mean, I remember when Dad had his first heart operation, the surgeon saying to Dad, look, if this had been 15 years ago, we couldn't have saved you. Well, that was, 20 or 30 years ago. So technology's gone on further, but also the understanding of our bodies and our genetic makeup and supplementation and how we can actually reverse aging. The stuff that's out there now is amazing. So that has given me a whole lot of hope, but it's also given me that compelling reason to live through to my 90s with that vivacity of life that I had in my 40s. I think like most people, 30s and 40s were my peak period. And it is not the unrealistic dream to think that we can go back to that sort of health and fitness and outlook on life. I certainly know I'm doing it, and given my poor health over recent years, I could have maybe chosen to keep going down that frail path, but I actually feel now healthier than I did about 8 years ago. So what's your compelling reason for why you're making the transformation? So whether you're like me doing a body and fitness transformation, but also a life transformation, I'm also doing stuff to work on finances and stuff to work on re-gearing myself for the next part of my life, because we got to keep learning. So what's your compelling reasons? Get them down, because you want to be able to refer back to them. So when the going gets tough and you go, I don't want to get out of bed this morning, I don't want to exercise, you can find the motivation to get going. All right, so that's it for today. I'll see you tomorrow.